for some Asian style pork. The first thing I'm going to do is going to get a wok and just heat it. I'm trying to get the gas on. Now, the interesting thing about being over here in America, which I've said before, is that it's very difficult to get fatty cuts of pork, because remember, we want low carb, high fat. And back in England, we can still get some nice fatty cuts of pork, you know, from the pork belly, which we've done before. And even the ground pork, which I've got here. Now, if you look at this, this is just so lean. It really does take away the essence of pork, which for me is the combination of fat and flavour. But that's what we've got, and that's what we use today. And this is just ground pork. Now, if you've got options to get fattier ground pork, then take it, because the fattier the better. You don't have to use all the fat that comes out of it, but it means that as we cook it, it will be much more moist for a lot longer in the cooking time. And you can always, again, if you don't like too much fat, you can spoon it off afterwards, because it will rise to the top of the sauce. And you can also drain it, which is what we'll do here, depending on what comes out of it. So, I want that to be quite hot, because I'm not going to put any oil in the pan just yet. So I want to see what comes out of this. Now, you'll notice that when you start frying any form of ground beef, lamb, pork, that you'll see this almost, it looks like scum. If you were to boil it, the scum would come to the top, and you'd spoon it off, and that would be great. The problem with that is that you're drying all the meat out in the process. So what I do is I put it into a wok or a pan. You can just start to see it cook now. Now, for all you chefs out there who are going to jump on me because I'm effectively boiling that, and I'm not frying it as I should do, well, yeah, you're right. But it's a lot easier for me to see how that meat is. So when I buy it again, I know what it does, and I know how much is in it, how much junk is in it. And I'm going to turn this onto a higher heat now. This should try and keep it sizzling, because yes, it will boil. If you don't get the pan hot enough, it will boil. And then you're not frying the meat anymore. As the chefs will tell you, you're boiling it, and it takes forever in the first instance.
So are you saying that you do this so that you can see how much fat is in the meat?
It's not just the fat. I mean, you've got a lot of impurities. I mean, in Chinese cooking, you'll see the Chinese people use a lot of pork on the bone, and they'll double boil it to clean it. And the point with the impurities is that it doesn't taste too good. And as you start to cook this pork, I mean, thankfully this is pretty good. You'll see a lot of liquid coming out, and it's like a brownish liquid. And you want to really remove that. And as we fry it, it will cook, and that will come off. But I'm dry frying this without oil, just to see exactly how much fat there is in here. And there's not a lot. And now the temperature's starting to drop because the water's coming out of the pork. And you can see that looks fairly clean actually. And it's not, if we're really doing this traditionally, you know, we'd get a scalding hot pan, we'd put a little bit of oil in there, we'd brown it, drain it, and for me, doing it this way with this amount of pork is not that much different. It's not going to be the end of the world, and it's not really going to impart much more difference on the taste. Through my experience, I've done it both ways, but depending on, you can see now there's a lot of water coming out, so I'll drain that. But all the time I'm doing this, remember, the temperature's dropping, so you really want to keep it high. But I'm just trying to show you now what's actually in the meat, and you can see the colour is starting to go a little grey, and it will start to eventually go brown. Then we'll take it out and we'll drain it. Okay, so now the pork is, looking at this piece, there's hardly any fat in it, just as I thought. It's quite clean though, not a lot of junk come out of it, which some other pork I've bought, you know, this is why I like to do it this way. So now next time I buy that same brand of pork, and I'll just fry it straight away because I know it's pretty good. But this is a nice little test for me to see what's in there. So what I'm going to do now is just, I'm not really draining it because there's nothing to drain. But I just now need to fry, or take the next stage of the cooking. But ordinarily, if you were using, let's say you're using lamb, and it was very fatty lamb, you would fry it and then just drain this. And I'm just going to try and take out. Now today we are surrounded by flies, so I'm going to do one thing and just protect that pork. We don't want flies, they're not invited today. And all I do here is I'm just going to wipe this out, just to stop the little bits of pork burning in the wok when we go to the next stage. So, still hot the pan. Now in with some, we're going to have to add some more oil here. And we're going to add a little bit more than normal because it's so lean, the pork. And into that, we're going to fry some onions. It's basically one medium onion which I've just sliced. So, what we do now is we just start cooking those onions. Now, the rest of the ingredients are paprika, turmeric, and chili oil. Now, this is a chili, back in the UK Asian supermarkets I could quite clearly see chili oil, but this says oil chili, but when I look inside it, there's peanuts. So, actually it tastes pretty good, I'm not too worried about it, but this is just basically red chilies, well it's just a mixture of chilies, there's some peanuts in there and oil. And we use that to give a really, one, it gives some spice to the dish and it adds some flavour. And then we're going to add some chopped garlic. Then back in with the pork. There's some chicken stock. Now, I've used stock cubes in other recipes, you can use this. The thing that I find, stock cubes don't really work with Asian food, not the Western stock cubes anyway, because they've got too much of a Western flavour, certainly with the herbs. So that's why I use this chicken stock, and it's so easy to find, you can get it anywhere. And that's it, so we just have to get those onions coloured, and then when we come back, when we're at the stage of the coloured onions, we can move to the next one.